just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah. Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come.
So, hello everybody. We should be live. I hope that you can hear us well. Welcome to this first Climate Walk live stream. Maybe my fellow mates can just give me a signal if they can hear me on the stream. And yeah, so we're grateful to be here today, and we're happy that you're here. that you're watching us, that you've decided to dedicate your Wednesday evening to the climate walk. And we've prepared some things, but what is the most important thing for us is that it's an interactive format. So it's not that we're doing, a big presentation about the project or that we're showing anything off. It's really about you, about your questions. So if you're on YouTube right now, you can see the live comments, the live chat, and I think at least when you're logged in with your account, you are able to chat with us and to ask us questions. We already collected questions also before, so we have some things to start off. So no stress for you to get the feeling that you have to do something. But we're really happy if you have any questions. And yeah, before kind of talking on and on, I just want to start with a quick round of introduction. And what I would like to do there is that just one of my fellow teammates, whoever wants, just starts and says hello to the people on the stream, and maybe just in 1 minute can easily describe what she or he is doing in the climate walk. So maybe Martin, go for it.
Yeah. So hello to all of you out there. My name is Martin Thalhammer. I'm also part of the Climate Walk team. I'm responsible in the project when it comes to route planning, but also responsible for the research project. And currently we're also planning a lecture series, which will start in the next summer term, which is a really interesting thing and highly recommended to all of you to join us there. I'm actually a PhD student at Central European University studying environmental sciences and policy. I'm currently working on human bark beetle relations in Upper Austria. So that is what I do when not working on the Climate Walk project. And I'm really looking forward to all of your questions. And also then I'm really happy to maybe at some point meet you face to face when it comes to walking together.
Great, thank you. Maybe Alexander, you want to go on?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So excited to be here and talk to you. So my name is Alexandra Stieger. I'm in the team responsible for the media art project and all the social media stuff. And yeah, this is actually really the focus right now, to do all the media art thing. But furthermore, I'm also part of the research project and also the volunteers program. Yeah, I'm looking forward to your questions though. So yeah, so nice to have you here.
Great, thank you very much. Maybe Anna, you want to go next? You just need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, the technical complications. Well, I was saying that it's nice to see you guys, or nice to meet you guys. I'm Anna. I study geography at the University of Vienna, and currently I'm at the University of Life Sciences in Vienna too, doing a master's program. I was working for different organizations with nature protection and environmental protection, and also cartography. And now in the team, I'm responsible for fundraising partnerships and also in the media art part and planning the routes. So if you have any questions about the route or media art or partners, you can ask.
Great. And then we also have Gerald here.
Yes, thank you. Hi, I'm excited to be here. I'm Gerald. I'm a political science student here in Vienna, and I do the crowdfunding in the Climate Walk team and the PR, public relations. So I'm mostly writing all the stuff which can be read out there, so blogs and things like that. And yes, I'm generally excited to be here. Thank you all for joining in, whoever's out there. And Timo, don't forget to introduce yourself also.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. So my name is Timo. I'm doing kind of all the techie stuff. That is also why you will notice me always looking to this side and to this side, where I kind of have my screens to check if everything is working fine, and I'm looking at your questions if you have some. So I'm doing, the website, all the technical stuff that we need to do this project. Maybe we can also talk about that today a little bit. And I'm also responsible for the finances and, making sure that that we can do what we want to do, and that also everything we do is obviously legal. So that is kind of my role in this whole project. And now that you've heard from all of us a little bit, I would like to go on with some questions to the team we have here, because obviously it's very interesting, and maybe it's also important to mention that these are not all members of our core team. 3 of them are unfortunately not here today because they didn't have the time, but there probably will be more opportunities for formats like that. But so just saying hello to Eva, Julia, and Martina. They are also part of our team. But for those of you that are here today, I would have another question, and that is, what do you like the most about working in the Climate Walk project in the team? Anyone?
For me, basically, it's the team as such. So I love all these people I'm working with, and it's really inspiring to get all their perspectives put into our project, and also the diversity of topics we're dealing with. That is also something I love. It's not restricted to only research. It's not restricted to be only an education project, but these complementary approach of bringing different project parts together, of dealing with different topics in an and maybe even in a transdisciplinary way, like binding in activists and practitioners and people from civil society. That is what I really like, the whole broad design of the project, so to say.
Yeah, and I think that's actually, we've heard about that now also a little bit just in the introductions, that we're doing a lot of different things, right? So it's not that we're very much focused on one specific thing, but we have very, very different project actually within this big project. And I think that's actually also really great. Yeah.
I really must say it's like, this is like very kitschy, I would say, but it's really like a dream come true. Not just doing something really meaningful and important, but also having an idea and then just doing it. And the best part just is that we are able to do this with our friends. I think this is really just the most amazing thing about this project, and it just makes this whole project so beautiful. That's what I really love about this.
So what about you, Gerard? What is the thing that you like most about working on this project?
I'd say that I've been there from the beginning in the team, and the most amazing thing for me is that it started as a kind of crazy idea who no one really expected to kind of work out in this way. I mean, we have obviously not started yet, and that can happen a lot, but it's starting to take shape, and this is really amazing to see what a small team of devoted people can achieve in such a short amount of time, and also the feedback from all the partners we reach out to, which is always really positive. It's really makes me want to go tomorrow, but to start walking tomorrow.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have that feeling because we're all working on this now for a lot of months already. So it's kind of already kind of itchy to start off, and yeah. So I think that's a very good point. So Anna, what is it for you that you like most about working with these amazing people here?
I like that it's already a new adventure, a challenge every day. because we're meeting we're meeting so many different partners. We are contacting or talking with lots of different people and hearing all the stories and ideas. And especially I like the team because I joined the team a little bit later, and I never felt like not being welcomed at all. It has always been an open communication, and it feels like a safe space for your own problems and your struggles in your daily life, and you can trust everyone in the team, which is really nice. And it feels like it's new friendships are being created or strengthened and built up within this project, and they will last for a long time. And especially, it's a new chapter of our lives, and especially with the pandemic that started last year, it was some good perspective to have for the future.
I actually think that is the last thing is actually, I think, at least also for me, a very important point. That even though obviously we are in a very difficult situation for the last nearly year now, I did not feel that it was too bad for me personally. Obviously, also because I didn't have problems with my job, but also because I had this project and I had something to work on. So I think that's a very good point, that probably all helped us a little bit getting through the situation. And I actually think that also leads us to a very interesting question we got, and that is, are you already nervous because now the walk is getting closer? I mean, last year it was always saying we will start next year, and now it is 2021. So I don't know, how do you feel about that? That now it's just some months away.
It's a lot of things, I would say. It's a bit frightening, but exciting. I'm happy, and yeah, it's a mix of very variety of feelings, I would say, but mostly excited.
I'm also super excited. I've just recently, some days ago, bought the two first tickets, basically, from Vienna to Berlin, the train tickets. And this was a very inspiring moment, and also a moment where I thought, well, now it's getting serious. But yeah, it felt good and it felt very right. And yeah, I mean, only the journey to the North Cap is already a big thing somehow. Like some days, not traveling by plane, but traveling, with public transport. I mean, only that is already an adventure, and we're looking forward to it very much.
So maybe just to ask there right in. So how long does it take you? How long does it take you from Vienna to the North Cape by train?
All in all, 5 days basically. But it's not like all the time inside a bus or a train, but we also have, overnight stayings and things like that. So it's not getting, too exhausting, the whole process. And also sometimes you have to wait some hours for getting, the next bus or for getting the next train. But all in all, it's like 5 days. Yeah.
Wow, that's a journey. And I think we'll talk about the point of flying later, so we'll not go into that now. But people might wonder why I'm not just flying. But maybe we'll talk about that at a later point. I think, Alexander, you wanted to say something as well, right? About the nervousness?
Yeah, of course there is some nervousness. But I don't know, looking back at the last month, we've already achieved like so much. We really started, I think it was in May, at 0, and we've come already so far. And I don't know, it's like a big motivation because we've done so much, so there's nothing there that actually can stop us now. So I'm so excited. It's now a couple of months, and yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Yeah, Anna.
Yeah, I would say I'm excited for Martin and Eva, the first one starting. Like, I'm really excited for them because Martin and I are planning the route for a few, or Martin was doing a lot of route planning already, and now planning the route again to have a fixed date and all that stuff is making you feel like you're walking with them a little bit, or you can already see where they will be walking through, which landscapes, and maybe thinking of all the people that they will meet. And this is already exciting. And also, it's a bit of a relief that we already contacted so many people, so many partners, and they already gave us so many responses. So we are sure that we will have accommodation or workshops, and that the project will work as we want it to work.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting point about the partners. And at the beginning, you said something about the route planning, which is quite good, because we have a question. We have actually a question in the chat right now about the route planning, and Michelle is asking, what were the important points that a route has to have to be included in the climate walk? And kind of a second question, how did the route come together? So maybe it would be perfect if, yeah, Martin or Anna or both of you would just could answer that.
Yeah, like one thing is the route that one could see at the homepage is still preliminary in one way, that there might be minor changes to it. One thing that we really tried to implement it when planning the whole route is that we have like a broad diversity of different landscapes. So that was one thing basically. So one idea was that we do not want to have only countryside in it, and at the same time not only moving from one city to another. I mean, in specific regions, as you can imagine, in Norway, there is a lot of countryside, so in a lot of mountainous areas and a lot of quite peripheral areas basically. But then in other regions, for example, like in the Netherlands or in Belgium, like, you know, things that areas are very densely populated, and we wanted to have a broad mix of that. Also, one reason for having like this north-south extension was that we wanted to have like a broad array of different biomes and vegetation zones. So yeah, to have like this broad perspective to really be able to at least talk a little bit about how climate change and changing climates is looking throughout Europe, or at least throughout mainland Europe. That's one thing. And then also for some parts, we already also tried to incorporate already existing interesting sites. So for example, one point for doing like this move to the west towards Belgium was that we wanted to incorporate Brussels as the seat of the European institutions. That was one important thing. Then sometimes, for example, when we enter Germany, it's along the region where the Hambacher Forest is, where a lot of conflicts when it comes to coal mining, and then other things that were contributing to the planning the route the way it is today. And yeah, maybe Anna, you want to jump in, tell a little bit about how the route was planned and is still in the process of planning.
Especially, it would probably also be interesting if you could, because you're very much into the concrete planning right now, right? With the tools, and if you could tell us a little bit about how that is working.
Yeah, so we're working with Komoot, which is also a partner of us. It's a very cool software, so to say, or online platform where you can plan your daily stages, so to say. And the big challenge for us was that, as you can imagine, 12,000 kilometers are a lot of daily stages. So we needed to have like a program or this platform that could, that manages, like, that helps us manage all these very many daily stages. And then also, as you can imagine, we're still struggling a lot with, you know, planning the whole thing that we can say in the end we're on the 5th of October, we're here and there, because this is also somehow necessary then for arranging partnerships and for doing workshops. So, and we're still struggling with that because, you know, as you can imagine, within 12,000 kilometers, we have some kind of play, like 2 or 3 days that we have to be flexible, and that we cannot be, you know, on one specific day somewhere. Yeah. Do you want to jump in, Anna?
Well, I think you already did a really good job explaining all the steps, and I just want to contribute that with Komoot, it's really great. It's a really great tool to work with, and well, I think it's soon to come that you will see the first stage, how it will look like in the end, and what kind of information we will give you to have an insight of what you can like our expectations of how it will be like, and that you can prepare yourself maybe if you want to join us on the walk, that you have some information. And maybe it's also interesting that in the tool we already have about 4,000 kilometers planned by now, which are fixed, so it's only a few thousand to go.
That's great. That's a very positive way of looking at it. That's very good. And I think that's also a point that is very important for our project in general, because sometimes I personally feel like sometimes it feels like this huge, mountain in front of us, and it's really funny because you can use these metaphors for walking, also for doing the project itself. It's like we need to do step by step, and if we think about the whole thing, it might get crazy in our heads. So thanks for answering that. There are some more questions in the chat. Annie asks, where are you going to stay overnight on the walk? Will you take tents? That is probably also something that is quite interesting for how the actual walking is happening.
Yeah, we will have tents with us, but we're not planning to sleep every night, every single night of this whole journey in a tent. So that is also one thing that we considered when it comes to the route planning, to from time to time, every week or at least every second week, to have like a city or village or a place where we simply have some kind of accommodation. That is in a lot of regions working very well. Also in Norway, you have, for example, a lot of huts that you could use for sleeping there. And then of course also we have to consider, when we are like in regions where there is not a lot of villages or cities, then we also have to think about food, and how much food we can transport from one place to another. And here also we have to find a way, like every week, to have at some point a possibility to get some groceries or to eat at the restaurant or something like that, so that we don't have to carry the food the whole way. So yeah. But those of us who want to join us, I mean, a tent would be a very good thing. And I'm sure if you don't have a tent, then at some point we could arrange things so that you can also join us, and that we may borrow you a tent or however we get to a tent.
Is there anything?
Or Martin will sleep outside.
Yeah, that's depends probably on the weather, but yeah, it's a good point. Is there anything else the others might want to add to the answer of this question by Annie? I mean, we could probably expand it in general. Like, what does it require to walk? Maybe we can split that in two questions. Like, what does it require for those people of us that walk months or the whole 1.5 years? What do you need for that? And the second one, what would people need that would like to join us? What would be things that they would to have?
Well, I would say first and foremost, stamina, or yeah, you should be fit somewhat at least. I mean, it's no big task to walk 20 to 30 kilometers a day, and still, yeah, be excited for the next day, I would say. So I would say that is the basic requirement, but also, yeah, everything from, of course, good shoes, tents, and yeah, get checked at the doctor first, I would say, if you're physically fit for it.
Yeah, that's probably also a quite important point for people that want to join us. That, yeah, as Gerald already said, you need to have a certain form of fitness, and that actually also ties in with the second question that Annie posted: is it possible to join you on the way? We talked about it a little bit now, but maybe Alexis can talk about that a little bit about the possibilities to join us.
Well, on the one hand, everybody can just walk with us. So this is the whole point of the project. We have like an interactive map on the website, and you can always see where we are right now. And so you can just, jump in and join us. And you can then walk for, I don't know, an hour or a month. It doesn't matter. So everybody can just walk with us. On the other hand, there's also something like a volunteer program. So if you're interested in really participating in the climate walk in a more, I don't know, more thorough way, you can participate in this program. It's actually focused on artists, activists, or academics, and you can just be part of the Climate Walk organization team. You can join us for a certain amount of time, either help us with the organization, like now in Vienna, already focusing when you're coming from I don't know, art studies, you can focus on media art project, or if you're interested in workshops, you can go to the media, to the education project. Or I don't know, if you're a young scholar, you can also help us with country research and analysis there. And you can always walk with us. So it is possible for volunteers to go walk with us for 3 weeks and then helping us there directly on the way. And one amazing thing about this is that you can also do your own little project during this climate walk. So either in regard to climate change in general, or in regard to climate walk. If you want to do something artsy, if you want to do making pictures and doing like an exhibition then, or if you want to gather data for your bachelor thesis or something like that, you can join us, you can walk with us for 3 weeks, help us there doing your own little project. And I think it's a really great opportunity for young people to connect with other mind-like people. First of all, it's an international project, so we have like people, stakeholders, organizations from all over Europe together, working together, and you can meet those people, you can work with them, you can work with other volunteers. And I think it's also something great for the future. Connecting is one of our main things of the project. So it is really about connecting people and but also not just connecting people, actually. It's also how I should say it, but connecting different disciplines, connecting arts, and also connecting global perception of climate change with the local perception. So it's all about connecting, actually. So I hope it was not too confusing now.
Could I just add to that? Whether you want to make something out of your experience or with your experience by walking with us or not, you can just walk with us if you want to talk to someone about your experiences with climate change. If you want to talk to someone about what worries you, or if you want to hear stories from the people that walk all the way. It's just the project lives with your and our experiences. So just join us if you want to. Whether through a volunteer program or not, or we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point that we kind of see that we have these two things, like the volunteer program, which is kind of structured from our side, still open for you to develop your own project within it, but still it's more structured. And then it is the idea of everyone can walk with us, and that is really important. So there are no limitations. You will find always the current position where our walkers are on the website. And maybe I just use this situation to quickly show you something on the website because it also, I think, ties into the aspect of the volunteering. So when you go to our website and you go to the what we do, you currently see this map which shows our route. And this map will be updated when the walk actually starts. So on June 5th, the people will start at the North Cape, and then we will daily update where they are. There will obviously, because we've planned it before, you can also see where people will be in 2 to 3 weeks, and you can decide to just join in there. So everything will be on our website. We will, communicate it also on social media. And for those people that are interested in volunteering, we also have on our website this aspect or this point under Contact Us, Become a Volunteer. And when you scroll down there, you find a lot of information about, what you can do within this program, what we can offer, and what we need from you if you want to participate in that program. So our website is probably always the best point to go to if you need information, just as our social media channels as well. Now that we talked about the volunteering already, we had one question before that was sent to us, and that is, if I'm a volunteer, can I also use an airplane to travel to where I will start walking, because I don't have the time or whatever? Maybe we want to talk about that aspect also for a moment.
I mean, I guess we won't be able to hinder you, like, if you do it, but it's not recommended, and it's not well in line with the values that are represented in our project. And I mean, what kind of role models like we ourselves would be if we would then, fly to the North Cape? So that is the reason why I've chosen to not do that, and also not during the whole walk. And we also urge you to not to not join us by taking a plane and then, causing emissions that would otherwise not have been caused. And then, the whole point of the project somehow, turns upside down. And yeah, so.
It's also not only the emissions and things like that, but one central aspect of the project is taking your time, experiencing your surroundings, which is reflected in the 5-day arrival journey you will do, I guess, in Norway. Because we really want to try to convey to people that traveling is not about getting somewhere fast and being there and seeing everything, but taking your time. And really, I mean, it's a cliche, but the journey is the destination, or whatever it is in English. Yeah, it is about the whole journey, I would say. So please, consider taking your time and taking the train or anything else.
Yeah, I'd like to contribute to that too, to taking your time, because we are putting so much time into this project, so much unpaid time. So it would be nice if you would also take your time to travel there without taking the plane, to use public transport, or to use your bicycle or whatever.
I think actually, Anna, you're the best keyword giver for the questions from the chat. I don't know if you're reading them and then you're putting those in, so that's great. Because actually, Susanna had very different questions, but some of them tie in with this question of transportation, travel, and now we talked about airplane. But so Susanna asked, do you plan to be flexible and use trains sometimes? For example, let's say if you have to make it to a certain point at some time to give a talk, for example, and then she also added, or bicycles. So I think these are two interesting points also there to answer.
Well, we need to consider to take the public transport at some stages, because we will have fixed dates where we will have workshops with some partners, and there can be also always some circumstances that are hindering you on walking or getting there by walking. So there will be always two people on the way, there will be one person taking the train or any other public transport to be there in time and holding the workshop. And there will always be one person that is doing the walk, that is walking the whole way. And I'm not sure if we were considering bicycles yet, if this is an option. But if there's some local person renting us the bicycle or lending us the bicycle, then maybe we take the chance.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what comes out of it. I think that's also an interesting point that in the end, none of us knows what's going to happen. And which people we're going to meet, what their ideas are, so the project might also change. I mean, it probably will not turn into the climate, what would it be called then, bicycling at some point. But yeah, maybe there will be situations where it just is necessary or makes sense to do that. Yeah. I mean, in general, I think the question is also interesting because it has this aspect of it ties together the aspect of route planning and our partners and whom are we going to meet and what are we going to do with fixed dates. So maybe you can talk for a moment about this question of what dates or what appointments do we actually have, because if we're just walking, it wouldn't be a problem, right? So maybe it would be interesting to talk about what are we doing on the way that makes it sometimes necessary to be at certain points at a certain point in time.
Well, the idea is that there is never just one person on the way. There's always a group, be it volunteers or two of people from our team. So if someone has to kind of drop out of the walkers and be faster at somewhere, like at a city preparing a workshop, then of course we will do that. But there will always be someone on the walking. Yes.
Any additions to that by someone, or?
I mean, what we generally do, like along the whole trail, is that from time to time we're holding workshops, co-organized together with local stakeholders. So that is important. I mean, it doesn't make too much sense now. Us now as mostly like Austrians like to step up there and doing a lecture on what climate change is. It is all about connecting people, connecting local people, bringing people together, which are somehow already brought together, maybe even, but maybe then also extending this group. So to have these kind of like participatory workshops, which are somehow open spaces for exchange. That's what we do, like every third or fourth week, something like that. So, and then we also want to have different locations for these workshops and talks we're doing. So it's about reaching as many different people as we can reach. It's not only in universities that we're then doing workshops or talks, but it's in town halls, maybe in church communities. So whatever is there on the ground is used and is acknowledged.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's also something that you will. So currently we are in the situation of talking to a lot of people. We have some fixed dates, I think, already for some of the cities at the beginning, for example, where we will have cooperations with municipalities. And all of that will also, again, be communicated over our social media channels, over our website, when are the exact dates, what are we going to do there. So these are always, just to make a little bit of self-advertisement, good places to go to. And Susanna also actually asked, or she was asking if, she's not sure if you mentioned it, but if we already know when the walk starts. And yes, so the walk starts on June 5th of this year. So that's the fixed date when we will start at the North Cape. So yeah, it's coming closer. And I would tie that together with a question we got before this live stream, and that was about, we are in a certain situation. You might have heard of it. So do you have any kind of worst case scenario or emergency plans for now if, the situation doesn't get better with COVID? Are there any plans in place are we going to deal with that, and what does that mean for the climate walk?
Okay, I'll try to respond. So one option could be that we simply postpone the walk so that we start later in the year in case beginning of June. And I mean, this could be that one is not allowed to travel due to COVID restrictions and due to border restrictions and things like that. So one option could be to postpone it then. I mean, of course, what is an issue then? You have to imagine, like, if we start then in August at the North Cape, we will get all the way down to Norway, and then in the middle of Norway, so to say, geographically, we're still very much in mountainous areas, which means that we're there then maybe in October, and then, you know, you have a lot of snow and a lot of like areas we initially wanted to pass through they're not passable. But yeah, we could also do what we also thought about then, not to start at the North Cape, but maybe to start in Denmark. And then after the whole situation has calmed down and in a period where the weather is then again fine, or the season is fitting to the circumstances at the North Cape, then we do the northern part basically. So do it afterwards, which would not be ideal because actually we wanted to do, of course, like in one part, the whole thing. But if it's not possible, then we have to be, I mean, we have to be flexible, as all people today have to be, you know, currently have to be really flexible when it comes to COVID and things like that.
But will the walk will take place anyway. I think that's the important point. You know, times might change, but the climate walk will stay. So yeah, that will take place, and we have a very nice comment from Annie again. And it's not a question, but it's something I actually, so that would be something for our route planners, because she said if you plan to walk via Lübeck, you can stay at our house. We have sustainable flats, and it would be an honor to host you, depending on how much people are coming. I actually don't know. Are we going through Lübeck? I don't know it.
The route we planned it like would not lead us through Lübeck, but it's not too far away. We may consider it's a very nice offer. So we thank you very much. We're not far away, so we're going through Kiel. That is one thing, and then all the way down south. Actually, not to Hamburg in this case, but we're like a little bit more in the northwestern direction. But Lübeck is not very far away, so I don't know. Maybe we might reconsider this part. But thank you very much for the offer. That is great.
Yeah, that's really great, and we're always so happy about you know, offers like that. And maybe that's also a good point about quickly talking about, if you are interested in walking with us, in cooperating with us, if you know people, if you know companies, if you know mayors in a city, and if you look at the map on our website, you can kind of see that we're going through this area. How could those people then get in touch with us, and what would be the best approach there? Maybe Alexandra, would you like to say something maybe about that?
Well, we are really happy about any kind of support, and we appreciate everything that comes to us, even like small comments and feedback. Like, we are just really appreciating everything. And of course, if you have like any ideas how you can help us, like connecting us with, earlier mentioned, like the mayor or some institutions, then you can always just send us an email, or just send us a text on social media, or comment something. So we are happy about anything. And other things that you can do to just support the climate work is, for example, follow us on social media and just spread the word about it. Share our posts, and share our story with your family, with your friends. Just spread the word. And of course, there's one thing that we also depend on at the moment, and this is like something less pleasant, the financial situation that we try to we started a crowdfunding campaign, and I think maybe Gerald, he is doing all that, and is doing an amazing job on that. Maybe he can explain this a little bit further.
Sure. Yeah, we have a crowdfunding campaign. On ecocrowd.de, where you can find all the details for the walk, and which is the easiest way to support us. Either that or donate via our website. But on the crowdfunding, you have little goodies you can kind of trade in for your support. So there are different tiers which you can select, and you can support us via any amount of money, which would be great. Any and all amounts are really appreciated and really helpful. And but as we also said, if you know of any place or interesting story, or any site we should visit, just hit us up on social media channels. You will find them all on our website, climatewalk.eu. And yes, we would really love to get in touch with you and hear your experiences and hear your stories. Or just don't be shy and contact us.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, to also talk about the financial aspects, even though it might not be so pleasant. So great, Gerald, for sharing that, and also you find it in the description below. You find a link to our crowdfunding page, and as it was said, we're always happy about contributions there, obviously, as well. And Martin already answered the question in the chat I just seen, because Susanna also asked if we will pass through Kiel, and I was thinking that maybe Anna could answer that question, and also talk about the corporations we already have in Kiel, maybe or not, I'm not sure, but yeah.
Well, yeah, we are walking through Kiel. We will have a stopover, and we will also have a workshop there. Which Martin is more aware of, I suppose. Anyway, we have a workshop there, and I just wanted to add to Annie's question that even if we won't walk through Lübeck, maybe you could visit us on the walk, and then you can join us for some kilometers or some hours, or just for a quick chat about your experiences.
Yeah, great. I think it's also a good point, again, to make that clear that, because we're talking about this volunteer program, and then, of 3 weeks joining us, it's if you join us for 2 days and you just walk with us, that's super, super fine, and we were so happy about that. And that ties in with another question that we got before the live stream, and that was actually, if I'm part of the volunteer program or not, can I join for 6 weeks instead of 3 weeks? Maybe, I'll just do that, because I think we kind of scratched it already. So in the volunteer program, if you're in the structured program, then the 3 weeks are kind of fixed. Probably not, on the day, on the spot, but we actually try really to plan those groups, those volunteer groups. They are kind of pre-planned, so that would be quite fixed. But if you just want to join us, you can, again, join us for 2 days, for 1 day, for half a day, or for 4 weeks. That's kind of up to you. And that also leads me to another question that we got, which might be really interesting, because we were talking about before, the project is for younger people, and obviously it's also for older people. I just also wanted to add that, so everyone here is also welcome. But what is about people that are underage? So can underage people join us on the walk? Is that possible?
Well, I would say they can, of course, join us, but not through the volunteer program. We if someone under 18, I would say, decides to just walk along, it's of course okay, but we of course can't take any responsibility. So if you want to join us and you're underage, just ask your parents to come along. Be the easiest question or answer, I would say. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's just a really important point, because probably our audience is, I mean, that is correct, is probably a little bit younger. Also because we're in contact with a lot of climate movements. So that is something to consider. And obviously we as a project, also in the end we are an association, an Austrian association, and we also have to there are some legal things we have to think about. So that's why we discussed this topic of underage and just decided that for the volunteers, at least, I mean, I have to say, I think if their parents don't join, that would be probably a very special situation. But the situation, we can just not take underage people without their parents because, as Gerald said, we cannot take the responsibility. I don't know if we've ever talked really about this aspect of if a volunteer just brings his mom or dad, if that then is okay. But yeah, we probably would need to discuss that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just looking through all the questions. Yeah, and there's one other question about this aspect of walking with us, which I think is also quite interesting, and it is about we talked about it, that it's important if you walk with us that you're aware what this does mean. And then obviously the question is also, are we aware of what this does mean? So are our walkers aware what it means to walk 20, 30, 40 kilometers per day for weeks or months? So are our walkers aware of that? Maybe some of the people that will walk can say something about their personal view on that, but also what we in the team are discussing in this context.
I would say, like, especially Eva is walking the whole way, and if you've ever been walking together with Eva, you know that she really means what it is to walk, and that she's very, very prepared to walk that far and very well informed. So, and I would say the same for myself. So I have done this before, and I mean, that is also a good thing. I would say also a good thing for the volunteers and for all the people who want to join. The beautiful thing with walking is, like, you start and then, first days are hard, but things are getting better and better and better. And you really develop, some walking skills, and you develop the stamina, whilst walking all the time. So it's not that you have, I mean, you should, when you arrive, you should already, have been walking before, but I would also say that you develop some kind of like stamina whilst walking. So yeah, and I think we all, those of us who walk, really do a lot of walking or will walk a very long part. At the end, they will be super fit.
There any other views or more views on this topic of also for oneself, like how are you all thinking about that for yourself when you're thinking about this walk that is ahead?
Maybe to add to this question of before, what we are talking about in the team concerning the kilometers and the walking, that we know that we need to have a backup plan, and sometimes there might be 3 people on the way, so someone can take some time off, or even if we are 2 on the way, we have volunteers, so we don't always have to be walking all the time if we are really not able to anymore, if you're tired because of some kind of workshop or some kind of weather conditions. And yes, So some people asked when they join us if we will be able to keep up with them, but I think it will be the other way around, that maybe they won't be able to keep up with us for 50 kilometers. No, but of course we will walk together. There won't be a competition of anyone, but just that you know that we will be, or the people on the way will be able to walk the 20 to 30 kilometers. I'm sure of that.
The words are out there. Yeah, no, but I think it's just really an important. Actually, I think it's a really important point that we also on the team have talked often about this the mental aspect of doing this, because it's obviously it's a physical thing, and as Martin said, that's probably something you also can train in some way. You can train it, and you will get better. It will be bad at the beginning, or it will be hard at the beginning, and it gets better and better, the physical part. But then obviously for the mental part, what does it mean to walk for such a long way? And I think that's something we in the team we really try also to discuss and reflect a lot. And we are aware of these aspects of walking so long. Also, aspects of being not home for such a long time, having not a fixed place. So these are things that are, I think, really important. And we're also in contact with people that have done long distance walking, and we are in contact with them to get their experiences, their tips, their tricks, how to do that. So that's also something that's probably quite important. I mean, and then the question obviously is, and you, Anna, you said it a little bit, but what is then if people cannot, like, let's say a volunteer is joining us, or anyone else who's joining us, and they just cannot keep up with the pace. How are we dealing with that? Because I mean, we're trying to get people, as many people to join the project. But what about this aspect?
I mean, we will not leave, someone behind. So we're not cruel, and we may possibly be in a state that we're also able to adapt maybe a little bit to it. Of course, at the same time, it's the responsibility of the individual volunteer to then drop out or whatever needs to happen then after that. But of course, we can support the person in doing that, and we won't be the ones that if someone has like a hurting ankle, that we're like we just continue walking and leaving this person behind. So that's not what we're going to do. But yeah, and I think like this is very much where we need to find like like in the course of the situation, we find a solution for that, I would say. And yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you know beforehand that you won't be able at all to do this kind of thing, then it's also, of course, not a good idea to join us. But then at the same time, also, when we have the 3-week volunteer phases, we also have somehow tried to not, the first days of new volunteers joining us will not be cruel days. So that's also what we try to consider. It's not like first day of walking and then it's like already 30 kilometers, but we try, start maybe a little slower, but then, continuously maybe increase a little bit the distances. And I think people can get used to that then with a certain persistence, and a certain also maybe a little willingness to suffer is also not a bad thing actually. But I mean, this suffering has not to be too much.
Imagine you always have to think about in the post-factual times, you can take snippets out of longer answers, and then what you just said would be a great source for making snippets. But no, sorry, I just noticed that. Yeah, I think that is just something that is also interesting to think about for the people that will join us. I mean, obviously for the volunteers, because that's a structured program, they have to do certain things before the walk starts, and there will be kind of interviews, not like super hard assessment centers, but still we will talk to the people before, because we need to know if they are able to do it, or at least if they are able to kind of, let's say, overcome themselves. So that is an important point. Yeah. And there's actually, sorry, Anna, go for it.
Sorry, I just wanted to add something. If you're not sure if you're able to do that, then maybe you can use the current situation that we know that brought us to do lots of walking, to go outside and try some hiking paths with a little bit with a backpack that's a little bit heavier, and try to do it a few days after another and see how it is, how you're experiencing it, what it is doing with your body, and if you even like to walk that long. And then you get an idea. Even if you're sleeping at your own house and not in a tent, then you get an idea of the walking.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's also a good point, that we all have time to prepare. And we had it now a little bit longer. But still, yeah, I think it's a good point that if you're thinking about joining, but you have the feeling that you're not in the condition right now, I would say that's not really the important point, because you have time, especially if you're not saying you want to start with us at the North Cape, because I think, how long are we in Norway? 2 months? Something like that? Yeah, 3 months even. So, if you're saying, okay, that far north, I won't go. So you have kind of time to prepare for that. So I think that's a good point. And I have some a very good question, and also a very interesting comment again from Annie, and she asked us, are you all students, or are you leaving jobs, etc. behind? And then she added, which I like, she said, we are considering quitting our jobs. I mean, I don't know if you mean for the climate walk. That would be dedication, I think. But yeah, maybe we talk about that. I mean, we made this short introduction on, but we did not really talk about what we are actually doing all. So maybe we just make a little round and talk about that, what we're actually doing in our lives and how we are integrating the climate walk into that. And maybe Gerard, you wanna start with that?
Sorry, my internet just had a little hiccup. I didn't hear everything you said.
Okay, no problem. Now the question was if you could just, what you are doing in your life, like, are you studying, are you working, what are you doing, and how the climate walk project goes into that. So what are your plans to, how does that all go together?
Yeah, well, I'm in the lucky position to finish my master's studies now, so it kind of goes together. Yeah, also depending on kind of the funding we get for the project, and it all ties into this, of course. But with a part-time job, hopefully this will kind of work out. It's all not set in stone, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see. I'm in the lucky position that I'm flexible enough to kind of react to this and adapt to this on the go.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. Maybe we could just, in my in my order, anti-clockwise would be Anna, the next person. Maybe you can also say some words about what you're doing and how you integrate the climate walk into your life.
Yeah, I'm studying as well. I'm doing my master's program and working next to it to get to finance the daily life. And I am considering it's a big question that we are all discussing. It's all the time, and it's a hard question, because yes, I will quit the job, because I will walk. I will be on the walk for a long time as well. But yeah, it depends on our funding situation as well, I suppose, which is the part that we were talking about before, about the crowdfunding, and we are also contacting lots of organizations or foundations to maybe get some support. It's a big question. I think everyone would love to quit their job for the climate walk, but we will see what the future will bring.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also, if I may add some things, because What is maybe also important to understand for kind of the structure, how we as this core team work, and what will be the plan from June on. So from our core team, always 2 members will be walking. So they will be kind of full time on the road. There might be also 3 sometimes, but kind of it will be always 2 people. So there's kind of a backup. And the others of us will stay in Vienna or where we are at this moment and, do all this work around, which is a lot of work. I mean, we've heard at the beginning what all the people are doing, like Alexandra, who's, doing an amazing job of the social media work, Gerard, who is currently doing a lot of crowdfunding, PR, and there's, all these things will not stop. So all this work has to continue, and I think it is always a little bit different, but I think currently we have people in our team that work everything between 10 to 40 hours for this project per week, not per month, per week. And that is definitely a challenge. And again, yeah, I mean, Anna pointed to it. That's why this funding situation is quite important for us, because it's not just about, paying the accommodation and the food for the walkers, which we definitely want to do, but it's also giving them a wage that is fair. It's not about, making us rich through this project, but we notice that we need more resources, time resources, to focus on the project. So that's why that is quite an important point. And maybe Martin, you wanna kind of hop onto the original question and talk about what you're doing, how the climate walk ties into that.
Yeah. Fortunately, I'm in a quite privileged position. So for my PhD project, I get a stipend, and I mean, now the last months somehow were hard, like figuring out how to combine like doing a PhD and then at the same time also working on this project. But I somehow managed it. And then from now on, the whole research process starts, which is of course then not a very good thing, like to leave the research for the thesis too much behind, but I will do that, I guess. And then I have the stipend. And that is also, the other side of the coin. We were talking about taking one's time and taking your time. And then at the same time, we're well aware that a lot of people cannot afford, just, quitting their jobs or just, working for weeks or months because they have to work. And I'm in a very privileged position. And also what I will do, I will hop on, hop off climate walk, meaning that I will do some weeks here, some weeks there, whenever I have the possibility to do it.
Yeah, and I think you made one important point that we didn't talk about before so much, is this situation of people not being able, for what reasons ever, to join us. But that is actually something that we think the project has its big strength, because obviously the core is this walking, and that's the thing. But around that, we have all these other activities. Again, we have our digital activities on social media. We have actually we have a bi-weekly TV format that is already fixed, so we will be able to take people on our journey, even though they might not be able to physically join us. There will be no blog posts. There might be live formats like this, but from the road, and maybe not so much, not so long, not so much focusing on the talk, but showing the landscapes and just short talks with people. But just to add to what Martin said, that we're trying with the project to also not just be on the ground and then people there are affected, but we want to really spread it through media, through our own media, but also through other media outlets. Yeah. Alexis, so what is your background, and how does that tie in with the climate walk?
Yeah, well, the last month were definitely challenging for all of us. Yeah, studying, I'm doing social and cultural anthropology, and then working so you can actually pay your bills, which is also like a important thing to do, and then doing all that stuff for the climate walk. And the thing is, the climate walk is just like all our heart is in it. So it's actually, for myself, I have to be careful not to put too much time into it, because if I could just work on that, but I have to think about my work and my studies too. But the good thing is that I'm finishing now my master's. So I finished my master thesis now, and I'm flexible with my job because I'm working freelance in educational and labor market research. So yeah, at least this is a good point, to be flexible and always to see what comes next, because it's hard to plan the next month if you don't know how everything else turns out with the funding, etc. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this with us. So for me, I always forget to focus myself when I talk. You are always in the spotlight when you talk, but I always forget it for myself. So I'll at least do it now. So I'm currently studying, but I would call it more work studying. So because I've always worked besides my studies, and I'm also kind of on the finish line of a master of my master program, which is science and technology studies. And I'm also quite lucky that I got the opportunity to start in a got the opportunity to sorry I got the opportunity to work in a research project that started in January, and that will be part-time, and I'm just now in a good position that I can kind of cross-finance currently my activities in the climate walk with what I'm doing in the other jobs. But yeah, also I think for the future I would also like to dedicate more resources to the project, and also have a certain compensation for that, because yeah, we heard it in the statements of the others as well, that it sometimes is hard. And it's really not about, again, I just want to say that it's not about making us rich in some way, but it's about, we're so happy that with everyone we talk about this project, if it's organizations or if it's private people, they're all so excited, and everyone is like, that's a great project, we like it, we want to support you. But then financially it's often then not financially. And I always think we're doing a project where we're going through, okay, let's, I hope we say it right, 15 European countries. It might be 16, we're not sure sometimes, but at least 15 countries. And I'm always thinking, if we would get 10 euros from 50,000 people, the whole project for the next 2 years would be fixed, and everything would be accounted for. So I sometimes, I'm just thinking like, we should be able to make that, and I hope we are able to make that. So again, just this little call for not just your contribution, or not your contributions, but if you have the chance to just share this project with people just do it, because it helps us a lot. If there are any more questions, just post it in the chat now, because our questions that we had are kind of going to an end. And also, if you people wanted to have a short break, you can just do that. That's absolutely fine, I think. Just wanted to say that. Yeah, so Annie wrote, I think you will be surprised how many people will support you on your way. Yeah, probably, that's true. And we're also kind of planning with that when it comes to accommodation and also to food. And we also have some people that will support us, definitely. But yeah, still, it's kind of this bigger thing we're thinking about. Are there any more questions from our audience right now? Because now it would be a good chance to do this, how to ask you questions. And while waiting, we should normally, we need to be good streamers. We need to make a good, we need to make good entertainment. But I actually think that currently there are no more questions. We also don't have questions anymore from those things that we got before. Are there any things that my fellow walkers wanted to add, want to say, something that we didn't talk about that you wanted to say?
I'm just happy that some people came tonight and joined in to be frank, we didn't really know if someone will show up. So there's a few questions we had, which is surprisingly many questions we actually had. I'm really happy that we got to talk to some people, and yeah, it was really nice. Thank you all for joining in. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, can just highly agree to that. Yeah, and obviously this will also be available as a recording afterwards. So again, if you have people that couldn't be here today, and you know that, you can just forward that, and they can join in then. Yeah, Martin, I think you wanted to say something, and then I started.
I just wanted to say thanks for joining in. We're really grateful that you were here, and we're looking forward to meet you all face to face.
Great. Yeah, definitely. That will be super exciting to meet all those people we've been talking to. Anna?
Yeah, same from my part. It was a nice evening, even if we couldn't see you, but we could feel that there was someone out there or something, I don't know. And yeah, if you are watching the recording, or if you have any questions afterwards, you can contact us, and maybe we can have a Zoom session or something like this as well, like a private meeting exclusively. And thank you, Timo, for the nice moderation. You did a great job, because Timo was doing all the setup of the live stream and the moderation at the same time, and that was really just well done.
Thank you. Yeah, and it wasn't stress at all in the 5 minutes before the stream started. Everything was super prepared. But thanks, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Timo, and thank you everyone who was there and who asked us the many questions. And I hope we can repeat it at some point. I hope Timo is also motivated to repeat it sometime again. But yeah, thank you for your support in everything we're doing. We feel that. I see that every day on social media. I'm excited about every like and every follower, and you can't imagine how much we appreciate everything of this. So thank you all.
Yeah, definitely. I think those are very important words. And again, yeah, if you have any questions about the project, check out our website. There you find also the possibility to contact us with our email address. You can contact us on social media. Everything is possible. We're happy if you share the project with friends, with family. Just talk to them about it. Explain what we're doing. Show them this recording. Show them our website. That helps us a lot. And yeah, with these words, I also want to say thank you. I also really hope that we can do it again. And yeah, have a great evening. We had one, I think. And bye.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah. roads have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah.